Day 4 of training camp has come and gone, and the Chicago Bears offense is getting better, and people are getting healthy. We got to talk about all that more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you stay in tune with us, man. Listen, a lot to get into on today's episode. A much better day for the offense. Dare I say the best day that we've seen from the offense in totality. Got to talk about some of Roma Dunze's comments about that as well. But of course, we got to start off with the health update. Colston Loveland healthy today and getting an opportunity to participate in 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills. We also saw Braxton Jones make his comeback in a portion of the 11-on-11 period. He was running with the ones when he was out there. He was out there for probably half reps in a certain period, and then they would swap in Kiran Amegadjie. So good to see Braxton Jones being able to get back on the field. Kiran Amegadjie was out there, but kind of towards the later end of practice, you saw him come up with a little bit of a gimp, and he walked off with the trainer. Seemed like he was testing out the right leg, maybe the ankle area. Seemed like the trainer continued to point to the ankle area, and that could have been one of the issues that he was dealing with. So he ended up walking off of the field under his own power. So that is a good sign, but we don't know what that is going to be as of yet because we talked to Ben Johnson before practice, not after practice. But starting things off with Colston Loveland, the rookie tight end came out making 3 catches in 7-on-7, 2 of them in the team periods, and 1, including one from Caleb Williams for a first down in 7-on-7. It was good to see Colston out there. He looks explosive. He looks like, everything that Ben Johnson probably wanted him for. The reason that you want to go out and get one of those kind of tight ends who's more of a tall wide receiver, an extra wide receiver on the field. Even had a really nice catch down the left sideline, going out of bounds there in the 2-minute drill to push that drill forward. Like, Colston looks like he's one of those guys who's been paying attention, who's kind of, okay, I understand where I need to be. And now it's just about getting there quickly and hanging on to the ball when it's thrown to you. Loved to see what we saw from Colston Loveland. I think there's going to be a big belief. There is a big belief, and there's going to be a big utilization of him in this offense, that he can be one of those top tight ends, one of those top receiving tight ends in this league right now. And I love the fact that the Bears are trying to use him to work him in early. He's been out here for the first 3 days in drills, but mostly just one-on-ones. We haven't seen him really take any time in any of the team periods, and seeing him out there in the team period, be able to go out there and come down with the football a couple of times and be able to separate from his man and use that body to create the space. It was good to see him back out on the field. As far as Braxton Jones, listen, he was out there, like I said, for half reps. This is one of those situations where I can't really give you an evaluation on how he looked because he hasn't been on the field, because it has taken time. The one thing that did stand out to me is that the pad level is probably still too high for somebody who's going to be elite, I guess I should say, at that left tackle position. That could be a concern, but I don't know if this is, hey, I'm just trying to get worked back in, just trying to figure it out. He was going at full speed. Like I said, he was out there during the team periods for 11-on-11. I like what I saw from that, but you still see him kind of getting that body up, not getting low enough to push people off. Again, there's no pads on, so how do you check the pad level with pads, right? But it just seemed to me like, looked like regular Braxton Jones. Is that what we want to see in this offense yet again? I guess that is the question. Let me know how you guys feel about Colston and Braxton being healthy down in the comments below and starting to work back into this. I love the fact that we're starting to get guys back healthy, and we got a report from Ben Johnson here before practice that Luther Burden wasn't going to practice, but his hope is that he will be back soon. I'm assuming that's probably sometime next week. Now, soon could be, right? Again, I'm taking Ben Johnson at his word right now. Day to day could turn into week to week, could turn into a month. This is a hamstring injury we're talking about here, and it's one that you can't just overlook and say, well, he's got to get back on the field as soon as possible. No, like, hamstrings, we know, like, to be honest, if we understand how hamstring injuries usually work, he could be banged up all season because of a hamstring injury. I don't know the severity of it, but it seems like they're not that concerned. Ben Johnson keeps saying that he believes that he's going to get Luther Burden back here pretty soon, and so hearing that, you just got to assume that at some point in this coming week that he's going to be out there, or at least in the next couple of weeks, probably before that Dolphins practice, that he's going to be out there and it's not going to be an issue for you. Let me know how you guys are feeling in the comments below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love as always. Again, the Kiran Amegadjie one, we don't know anything else about that one as far as how he's feeling and how that's going to affect him long term, but he was walking off with a trainer and did seem a little bit banged up there. Let's talk about how the day went. Listen, I thought this was one of the offense's better days here in the 11-on-11 and the 7-on-7. This was a third down install today. There was a little bit of a struggle. I'm not going to lie to you. But and I asked Rome Odunze about this because in the team periods, in the real game situations, it seems like they kind of lock in and figure things out, and they move the ball down the field really well. Yet again, another red zone period, 2 minute. This was pre-halftime, 2-minute drill, 21-3. And Caleb Williams started, I believe, at his own 35 and moved the ball down the field, matriculating that ball down the field effortlessly. Some really nice passes from Caleb. Had one play where they've been doing this simulated pressure with him. And there was a breakdown on the left side because they sent so many people. Caleb's running backwards, does one of those jump throws over the middle, hits his man. I believe it was Olamide Zacchaeus who brought that in. And then down in the red zone, it was just pure operation. And they end up finding Rome Odunze on a fade on the left side of the field. And he came down with a one-on-one touchdown. I believe that was against Nashawn Wright. But just seeing the offense in real periods start to move the ball down the field and start to look like the offense that you're hoping to see, like I feel very good about where this team is at because they're still so early in install. Ben Johnson talked about how they are on install 4 of 12 in this offensive system. They're 1/3 of the way there. And to see, right, 1/3 of the way there when we're calling these plays in real-time situations and real game moments, right, in the red zone yesterday when it was an 11-on-11 period, you saw Caleb Williams come away with 2 touchdowns in that, right? Like, those are the things where it's like in these real game moments, are you actually finding your guys open? Are you getting to your reads on time? I thought it was one of the better days for Caleb Williams and the first-team offense. Second-team offense came out there, and they maintained the fire that they've been able to put out there. Tyson Bagent had a couple of struggles. They actually saw Ben Johnson get after Tyson Bagent a little bit today in one of those second-team drills because he ended up overthrowing a guy on the sideline. And you just saw Ben walk up to him. He did not look happy. But outside of that, it was a better day for the offense. Again, I keep saying this. This is all about taking steps in the right direction. This is all about improving day over day. And I think that we've seen that through this first week. I think you can call this first week of practice incredibly successful. You had the pre-snap procedural issues. I asked Ben about those today as well. He said that they're not where they want to be, which is the answer I would expect from Ben Johnson at this point, right? Like, they're not where they want to be. That he wants this thing perfect right off of the bat, and it's not perfect. You still have, some false starts. I think there was one, the only thing in the 2-minute drill that was a problem and that did set him back a little bit, I believe was a delay of game. I ended up getting called on Caleb Williams and the first-team offense, and that set him back a little bit before they went down and ended up scoring that touchdown. Those are the things where you look at it and say, okay, I understand what Ben is saying, right? These are issues. But like day one, you couldn't get plays off because the first team offense was so disjointed. And now day 4 of this thing, you're not only to the point where you're getting plays off, but you're also moving the football down the field. You're also putting yourself in a position to score. You're doing all of the things that you are hoping to accomplish in this offense in the live action red zone 2-minute drills and things like that. Now, The 11 on 11 and 7 on 7s have still been a struggle for the first team offense. They have. Caleb Williams has shown some inaccuracies in those moments. And the 7 on 7, I think there was a couple of balls batted down where it's like, okay, how are we batting balls down in a 7 on 7 drill here? But those are also the moments where we're looking so focused in on Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson is saying, look, the wide receiver's not getting to his route quick enough. He needs to break that route off a heck of a lot faster when he was talking about the interception yesterday in 7 on 7 in that red zone period, right? Like he needs to break that route off faster. You got to get to that spot. And I talked with J-Mac about this yesterday on the Chicago Bears podcast when he said get to that spot, right? Find your spot in the zone. You got to sit down quick so that ball's hitting you by the time you're sitting down, right? Like there is a timing to this. And one of my favorite things ever is when Tom Waddle tells you everything that you have to accomplish for a 5-yard hitch route to work in the NFL. Like how everyone has to be so perfect about this. It's why I love, yet again, I talked about this morning on the Designer Driving Chronicles, right? Like the fact that you are so focused on the minutiae, on the small details, on getting the small things right. That's the important part so that you're able to go out there and make the big plays because all of those small things have to hit together for a big play to work. And I love the fact that we're starting to see them get down those small things. There's still a long way to go. There's still some things that they are struggling with as far as pre-snap procedurals, right? Again, like I said, a delay of game popped up. But it's night and day from where it was day one, where we were sitting here scratching our heads, walking away going, wow, it seems like they really struggled to retain some of the stuff that we saw in OTAs and minicamp. Let me know how you guys are feeling about this team right now in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. We did get to see something a little bit different today, though, that we haven't gotten an opportunity to look at. This is my first chance to look at one-on-ones. Now, no pads, right? So how much can you really tell? I'll tell you this, Drew Dahlman was out there versus Andrew Billings. There was a lot of holding. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much that you can do. There's nothing to grab on. There's no pads. But I did see Kiran Amegadjie. He ended up doing pretty well. The only rep that he got cooked on was I saw him out there with Austin Booker for one rep. And there's just nothing to grab onto with Booker. Like, there's no fat. There's nothing to hold on to. So Austin Booker kind of got right around Kiran and ended up getting to who would have been the quarterback, one of the coaches that was back there. I don't believe it was Dan Richard, maybe his assistant offensive line coach. But when Ozzy was out there, I thought Ozzy did a beautiful job. Even in the second team period, watching Ozzy in the 11 on 11, he did really well in the one-on-ones. But in the 11 on 11, he was out there with the second team because it was Kiran's day to get his shot with the first team. And, I mean, Ozzy is out there just fighting. And finally, he pushes Dio Dangbo, who I believe was out there on the field at that point, to the ground and just lays on him. Hands up, yeah, I mean, like we see all the classic old linemen do, and just lays on him, uses that weight, and gets up off of him, ball goes out, right? But those are the things that you like to see from a guy who hasn't played the position, being able to hold your own. And again, like I said, there's a lot of holding in this. There's a lot of shirt grabbing. You guys have seen the picture. Do I got the picture? I have the picture on here, right? It is a lot of this right here, right? You see Drew Dahlman right there just holding the shirt, trying to grab a hold of anything there. Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of that. So you can't take a ton from the one-on-ones. It's actually funny to see them doing them because I was sitting next to Carmen Vitale, and literally she was like, I don't get this. Like, why are we doing this with no pads on? I was like, I get it. Like, you want to get the work in, but also, you can't assess how the offensive line is looking. Maybe it's more for the defensive line to see them in those pass rush situations. But even then, you can't really tell a ton because you're not getting pushed off. But I thought the one-on-ones, seeing the offensive linemen, you feel a lot more comfortable. I mean, I saw Joe Tooney out there. He was going up against Javon Dexter. Javon Dexter was doing everything that he could to try and get home. I mean, you're talking about just, come on. Nope, you're not getting that. Masterclass. And I love that. Love seeing that from Joe Tooney. Drew Dahlman did a great job, like I said, on Andrew Billings in the one-on-one rep that I saw with them. There were some, I'll tell you what, the guys that did get cooked were all of the guys that were on the field last year. I saw Bill Murray, cooked. Saw Doug Kramer, cooked. Doug Kramer did also end up leaving with an injury. We don't have any designation on that just yet. But those were the guys that I saw that were absolutely getting just moved out of the way. I don't know if that's going to be that's your depth essentially, right? Those are the guys that you don't want to get in, but if you need them to get in a pinch, you know that they've started and they can figure it out and go out there and make plays. They're still trying to get better as well and figure this out. But it was funny that like the guys that I looked at and I was like, wow, he got destroyed. Who was that? And you look down at the sheet and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. Outside of that, though, I think that it was, like I said, the big takeaway of the day is, and the one thing that was my big takeaway, there was an 11-on-11 period right before the 2-minute drill. Caleb was visibly frustrated at the fact that they still weren't connected. He threw a ball, I believe it was to Rome Odunze. Rome turned his head either the wrong way or he turned his head the right way, and Caleb threw it the wrong way. One or the other. Caleb was trying to give him kind of an inside pass so that he could turn away from the defender. Rome turned towards the defender, that type of thing, right? Still not on the exact same page. And you can see Caleb Williams was visibly frustrated. After that, though, they come out, 2-minute drill, boom, 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 dots down the field, putting themselves in a position, and then finally being able to go out there and score the touchdown. Like, those are the things that you want to see. Are you learning from these moments where, yes, it is very scripted. It is very much, right, this kind of dance that you have to do with a defense that, yet again, and I think this was my takeaway yesterday. It continues to be my takeaway. This defense looks like they've been in this system for years. They do not look brand new to this system. It's stunning to me how well this defense is moving. I mean, when they're calling a blitz, they are flying around. When they are calling, right, we're dropping back. We're dropping out of the, we're simulating the pressure, but then we're dropping out. Flying to their spots. They know exactly where they need to be. And I know J-Mac said yesterday, he's like, well, offensive players are smarter than defensive players because your responsibility isn't as much. But listen, like, there's a lot of things that defense needs to learn, and they look like they haven't missed the beat, haven't missed a step. Hopefully, we see a bounce back here from Montez Sweat. Hopefully, we see a ton more pressure up the middle, and we see Dio Dangbo able to get pressure because where the DBs are at right now, I mean, Al Harris has these guys clicking on all cylinders, and you see multiple DBs getting it right. You talk about a guy like Nashawn Ray. You talk about who Rome Odunze gave praise to today. You talk about, these, even a Tyreek Stevenson, even a Terrell Smith, right? Like, everybody seems to know exactly where they need to be. There's a couple of times where you can tell Brisker is chomping at the bit to hit somebody. Oh, he can't wait until Miami comes to town. You can see it already. And people are just kind of like, all right, dog, like, relax. I'm on your team, bro. Don't come flying. This defense looks ready to go, and I love every minute of it, man. I'm excited about what we're seeing here on this 4th day of camp. Off day tomorrow. We'll be back at it Monday. So you'll see me up here Monday as well. A lot to get into and want to see kind of, okay, now it feels like you're starting to figure it out. We've still got a ton of install periods left. We still got a ton of things that we got to figure out. I think install 5 will be Monday, I would assume. Now you're to the point where it's like, okay, second week, are we starting to maintain what we learned in the first week? Are we starting to add to the game? Are we starting to pick some things up? Let's start seeing some more completions in these 11-on-11s, in these 7-on-7s. And Rome he kind of alluded to the same thing, right? That, some days there may be a bad thing on one side, but you have a better day in another drill. It's all about putting it all together. And I think that's what this Bears team is trying to do. And I think they did a decent job this week going through that systematically. But let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys. As well as always, man, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Let's keep moving this thing in the right direction, baby. Peace.